And he's pressed it.
Good afternoon, everybody, and a very warm welcome to QuickBooks Labs, your number one QuickBooks podcast in the UK, because we're the only one in the UK. And we're going to be looking at today, exploring some more tips, tricks, and everything else to do with the world of QuickBooks. I'm one of your hosts, Aaron Patrick, the QuickBooks chap on YouTube, and the newly crowned digital disruptor for 2024. And with me is a panel of experts, so let them introduce themselves. Charlie, do you want to go first? Who are you? Why are you here? And what do you want to promote? Go for it.
Hi, I'm Charlie Khan. I am an accountant in West London, long-time QuickBooks user, and I run a Facebook group for QuickBooks Pro Advisors. You can find us on Facebook. It's called QBOA User Group. What an exciting catchy name.
Love it. Highly recommend getting yourself involved in that. Amy, who are you? Why are you here? And what you want to promote? Go for it.
Hi, I'm Amy Hancock. I'm an accountant and auditor, #AuditAmy. I'm a QuickBooks user. I have a firm in Dunstable, Bedfordshire, and I'm currently live streaming from my car.
Isn't it a modern world, hey? We're podcasting from a car outside a client, isn't it, at this point in time?
I am currently on audit, as the name says. So I'm streaming from the car, sharing everything QuickBooks, hopefully, with you guys.
Love it, love it, love it. Well, Happy New Year to everyone, because it's our first one of going live. We have a cracker installed for you to do today, but first of all, let's figure out how all this works. We are live to the world at this normal-ish time of around about 1 o'clock on a certain day. We'll figure it out as we go along. But if you are listening back at a later time, don't forget that you can try and join us live. The best way to figure that out is keep an eye on our socials, where we'll let you know when we're next going to go live. Our next one actually is going to be an important one, because fingers crossed, we haven't had 100% thing for this yet, clearance for this, but we're pretty sure we're going to do it anyway. We'll be live from QuickBooks Connect itself in 2025, but we'll talk more about that later in the show. Furthermore, if you're live on the podcast, furthermore, we're also live on the podcasting service around the globe, which goes live each Wednesday of each month. So feel free to subscribe on the podcast service of your choice. And if you want to ask questions, push them through and everything else, then find us on our socials or come live to us and tell us where we're wrong when we are wrong. Right then, let's get straight into some updates. I think the biggest update for us to know is about a feature that unfortunately is gone too soon or going too soon. So what I'm talking about is the world of tags. Just a bit of a TDLR of, first of all, what tags are. So if you don't know, then when you go in to put a transaction on, you're always given that option to add a little tag to it, which I think confused a lot of clients, because I think some clients were confused between what's a tag and what's a category and how do they both work and everything else. But in theory, the tags were supposed to be something so you can easily find that transaction again. You could tag a transaction so that you could run a report, bring those transactions back in. But unfortunately, tags will no longer be supported after March the 8th, 2025. One quote I've got here is "good riddance." So yeah, shows how excited they were for going. I thought, "Oh, don't you?"
Oh, that's a bit mean.
Before we go into kind of what's been replaced and everything else, what's everyone's original thoughts on tags then? Amy, do you want to go first?
So I only had a few clients that used it, and they would only usually tag just for missing documentation. So if they had an expense and they categorize it, maybe put no VAT on because you didn't have the receipt, didn't know it was VAT, you could then bring up a list later and say, right, these ones need attachments, these ones need the VAT treatment changing. So those clients will miss that. Hopefully you are going to tell us about an alternative way of doing this going forward, but yeah, it is sad for some people that it's going to go. So solution coming.
Yeah, Charlie, what's your thoughts on it?
I thought tags were pretty useful. I thought they were very poorly explained to people. I think was part of the problem.
They just appeared out of nowhere, didn't they?
They was.
They appeared out of nowhere, no explanation at all.
I think the example that Amy gave is a perfect example of where they're useful. But I think a lot of people, in my experience, got confused with tags and then locations and classes. It's like, well, you've got locations and classes, and it's like, no, it's not about analyzing it for reporting. It's about you want to find some particular transactions. It's like a hashtag, effectively. So I think it's a pity they dropped it. I don't know why they dropped it. Was it simply that it wasn't very popular, and why maintain it, or was it that to maintain it is a lot of effort and conflicts with something else they're doing? If it's the former, then I think they should have kept it. If it's the latter, then okay, I can understand if it causes a problem with other features. But even if a feature isn't used that much, unless it really takes a massive amount of work to maintain it, I would leave it there and then just maybe look at promoting it a bit better, because I think it was a useful feature for those that used it. Not critical, not at all critical, but useful.
Yeah, the reason it's going is mainly because we're moving to this new reports package, aren't we? So, and this is where one of our biggest problems of QuickBooks has been lately, is that we keep adding these new sections on, and they're kind of having their own report package or report, system in the background. And tags was a perfect example, where instead of just being a extension to our current reports, it was this new database that was being built, and you could do this and that, and it was all being separated and everything else. And you kind of hit the nail on the head there, Charlie, of, there's going to be costs associated with maintaining that and keeping up to date and everything else. And it wasn't being used. Like, it was really poorly implemented. But again, the reason it was poorly implemented or poorly used was because no one knew about, there was no conversation around it. Even as a QuickBooks trainer, we were struggling to, bring it into conversation and put it in the certification and all that sort of stuff. Like, it just, there was just no, it was confusing, wasn't it? It was, I think on the QuickBooks Self-Employed, it made a lot more sense. Like, tags were the only way they could analyze in that sort of way. I mean, we personally used it similar to what Amy was saying there. We personally used it as a feedback loop. It was a way of finding a transaction again. So for us, it was very much a case of, if one of the team members was maybe a little confused or wanted someone just to check something for us, they could put a tag in there, like for review, for example, and then, explain, I didn't know if I used the right VAT code, or was I supposed to split this transaction, or whatever it's going to be. And it made that review process nice and easy for us to find it. And like Amy said, like the idea that you could tag all the ones that didn't have uploads on, so that you could then give a report quickly that the client can go into those and upload them for you. That's what I found the tags area for. It was a discoverability feature more than anything else. And yeah, so Simon, who's unfortunately not with us, he's got man flu, so hopefully he gets better soon. He provided all the data for it, all the details for us. So from the February the 5th, 2025, so that's today, to March the 7th, 2025, you can migrate your tags to a custom field. I haven't actually seen that process yet, so yeah, it'd be worthwhile kind of looking into that. And then from March the 8th, 2025, which is that date we've already talked about, to April the 30th, 2025, you'll have read-only access to your existing tags. And how they're going to replace... Sorry, go for it.
I was going to ask, but if you might, let's say you've got, I don't know, a bunch of different tags, and you migrate them to a custom field. Let's say you've got 3 tags, for review Amy, for review Aaron, for review Charlie, or something you want particular. And so I look at all the tags that say for review Charlie, for example. They're all going to be in one custom view. You don't want to put them in different, because you might have 20 different, 30, 40 different tags. They're not going to go to a separate custom field each. They're going to be in one custom field. You can't filter by the data that's within a custom field. So I'm not quite sure what migration to a custom field is going to do.
And it's supposed to be live today, right? So it said February the 5th, which is today by my calculations. Maybe I got that wrong. Maybe I don't understand dates. But February the 5th, 2025 to March the 7th.
2nd of May in America.
That works. Crap me up more than it should have done. Yeah, I can't find anywhere within the tags area to migrate my tags going forward. And on my custom client that I have, my dummy client, I have loads of tags in there, because we were always playing around with adding tags here and putting there. I have no option anywhere to migrate my tags. So maybe it's coming later today, maybe it's coming later in the week. I don't know, but that's not there at this point in time. But you're right. And that's a good point as well. Like, the solution that they're pushing forward is custom fields. So the idea then that custom fields, which we've had for a long time, is going to be the way. And custom fields, in fairness, has had a glow up lately we now have more granular access to what we can do with custom fields. We can make them a drop down box. We can make it just numerical. We've got options, haven't we, to use custom fields more powerfully than ever before. So it makes sense to have that as the way. And the cool thing is that means that custom fields is now accessible to all versions of QuickBooks Online. So simple start from before, never had access to custom fields, but now we're going to get access to it as part of this. So yeah. What do people think? Is that, I mean, you've already given your quick opinion, Charlie, but Amy, what do you think? Do you think custom fields is the solution?
Yeah, I mean, I like that they're giving us a bit of time for migration, because hopefully for those clients of mine that are looking for receipts, hopefully they'll find them by that point. Yeah, it'll do. It'll do for now.
No, I disagree with that. I don't. I mean, at least if they're getting rid of them, allowing you to at least save the data to a custom field as a place to put it, at least you've got the data saved. But it's not doing what tags did. It's not remotely doing what tags did. So,
do you think they'll just have a tag custom field and it'll be called tags, and then every bit of data will just flow into there? Because if so, that's not going to work at all for us, right? But
well, I mean, if you could filter, but it's the whole point is if you could filter every transaction where custom field X says for review and custom field, or it says whatever you want to filter for, fine. But you can't. The whole point of custom fields is simply either when you create a form, an invoice, for example, sales invoice is the obvious one. You put a purchase order number in there, or your supplier reference that when you're sending an invoice to somebody, that kind of stuff. Or it's used. That's one purpose of it on forms, and the other purpose of it is in reports, where you want to just have a place to store data in a column that is useful for you to look at in a report when running a report. But it's not a filtering tool. And there's, as far as I'm aware, no way of filtering by it. If you want to look for all the transactions for where this custom field has the word for review in it, you can't. You've got to run a report that says everything, export it to Excel, and then filter it in Excel.
And pointless in Excel because you can't do deep links or anything like that, right? And that's where the benefit was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I love Excel. That's why I was thinking I'd probably do that.
But that's not the answer.
I know that's not the answer, but I realistically, I still put the reports in Excel and I still filter them in there, even though there's the filter thing. I know it's just habit.
You're wrong, Amy. You're wrong.
I know I'm wrong.
There's another hashtag for you there. Yeah. Excel lover. That's what we need you to audit. Amy, Excel lover.
Yeah, there you go. New hashtag for me. I'll put that next time.
Maybe it's time that you took the Amy Excel chapette or something, like try and take that to YouTube. Yeah.
Okay. Maybe if you get an award for that, I'll have an award, because I still don't have an award yet.
Award, right? Okay.
Yeah.
We'll keep that. Excel we wouldn't be anything without our amazing community. And Kirsty's jumped in to say hello, everybody. Hi, Kirsty. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, Kirsty.
And Kath says, hey, I'm retraining myself up in QuickBooks again. Woohoo, go for it, Kath. After having a break for a few years, I bet there's been a lot of changes. Never heard of tags. Well, that's one thing you don't need to train up on, eh? So that's one benefit for you going forward, Kath. Awesome. Right, okay. So that was tags going goodbye, which gone too soon in our opinion, but that is the way the cookie crumbles. How about a new upload feature? Who was asking for new ways to upload data into QuickBooks Online? Hands up if you were looking for a new way to get data into QuickBooks Online. Go. Were you? Really? I question that.
I was trying to be positive.
Yeah, I mean, if it's going the apron WhatsApp way.
Oh, so let me clarify. This is about uploading your chart of accounts, uploading your customer list, upload. So this is the
Ignore me
upload.
then. Ignore me.
Not pique your interest then? Is that what you're trying to say?
Oh, yeah. It sounds good.
So I'm going to share screens because that's the easiest way to do this. So any audio listeners, I do apologize. But in the top right hand corner, you go to company cog, go to tools, and you have a little option called import data. From here, we have customers, suppliers, chart of accounts, products and services, which was our old and original way of uploading documents or data, shall I say. And then we have invoices, credit notes, sales receipts, journal entries, and bills. They got released, I want to say like 2 years ago, but only just got released over the US. So we got them before them. That's one of the only times that's ever happened. But we have had a glow up for our customer, suppliers, chart of accounts and product service. So our original uploads. If you go into any of these now, I'm going to do product and services because I think this is the only one where I can see in my head where this could be beneficial. If I go to product and services, on all of those ones I've just mentioned, you can either select a CSV or Excel file to upload. So you'd grab your Excel document, do what you need to do with it. Amy loves using it in Excel, probably gets upset when it goes from there. Upload it up and you are job done. Or you now have this new extra feature called select a Google Sheet. So before I go any further, and I'll show exactly how it works and everything else. Now, did everyone, who was that? Put your hands up, who asked for this? Maybe that's the easiest one.
Sorry.
I hate Google Sheets. Hate it.
I don't hate Google Sheets, but yeah, it is one of those where this feature was fine. I don't think anyone was crying out for a different way of doing it. It was really powerful. Like it did everything it needed to do. This select a Google Sheet option, cool, great, wonderful. But I question it. And the one thing that I was hopeful for was import product and service. I do see a reason for this. So I don't know if anyone's aware of this, but if I was to go through the process of doing this, you press connect. Then I have to authenticate myself. Hopefully I don't give any information I shouldn't do at this point. But if I type the word product in here, oh, brilliant. Doesn't even come up there. So my first big problem is this whole screen here is really like unintuitive how to use. Like there's no way for me to go back to them. It's kind of this random one. I didn't like it at all, but I did a whole video trying to figure it out, and here it is. So I'm basically needing to get to this file here. All that file is exactly that download sample file that we've got on the left-hand side, which would use Excel, but just been hosted in Google. I click on it, and it's very same experience from here on in. So that's the only bit that's different. I press next. I get to go here. I press next, blah, blah, blah. And then on the products and services list, you do get the option at the very bottom here to overwrite all values for each product and service. And what that's powerful for is, say that you want to make some real big changes to your product and service list. So maybe on this one, your Coca-Cola is going up to £1.20 or whatever it's going to be. You can put that into that list, overwrite the values, and it's a quick and easy way of being able to do that. So for me, if it could live on Google Sheets, actually, there's a little bit of a benefit there for certain clients, right? Like their product and service list live somewhere else. People upload it and they'll go into there. My problem is that process you just see me of finding the right file, going through there, looking, using that horrible Google interface. You have to do that each and every time. You have to connect it each time. You have to find the transaction time, and then you go. It doesn't save it. Like if it had kind of almost saved it there, and it was something then that you could, press a button to re-upload instantly, sort of thing. I can see the benefit of that. But this way, you've got to go through the rigmarole of connecting it all, finding it, everything else I've just gone through to show. For then, and it's really weird as well, because if you watch my video that comes out in a couple of weeks' time, I was uploading it, updating these Coca-Colas live, pressing the upload button, and it wasn't always up to date. It was like a lag of, say, a minute or 2 minutes or whatever. So I'm like, that was the big reason to use it, right? That was the big reason why I wouldn't have just pressed download and upload it as an Excel document. So from what we can see, what's everyone's thoughts of it? I mean, I'll try and bring that that interface back up again while you're talking, but go for it. What's your thoughts on? All right, now, because I've gone to someone else and I've got to sign in again, go through the authentication, get myself signed in, and then it connects from there. Go on, everyone, what do you think to this?
I mean, I'm personally, I'm not Charlie, I'm not a Google Sheets fan anyway, but looking at this, it wouldn't make me go, oh, let's start using Google Sheets and do it this way, because you've got to go through the process every time.
Yeah. And this isn't, there's no way to favorite a transaction or anything like, or a sheet or anything. This isn't even the view of my Google Sheets. Like for me, when I go to Google or Google Drive and go into there, I've got them all laid out for me. I'm a I'm a typical accountant, so everything has to go in a folder and everything has to be there. And do you know what I mean? Like, I can't just have files just floating around.
Yeah.
I have to have structure. I always have to have structure. This isn't my structure. This is just a random list of, and I couldn't tell you how this is broken down because some of these files I don't even recognize. Do you know what I mean? Like, they're just whatever. But this is what I don't understand how they got to this point. I think some of the limitation is it's just Google Sheets and this is the interface Google gives you and they've just had to just live with it. But then I ask myself the question of why? Like, why implement it in the first place?
And if you're going to do an online offer the online offering, why not also offer Exchange, Excel Online, by Microsoft?
Yeah, I mean, at the moment they've kind of hidden that behind the paywall of QuickBooks Advanced, haven't they? It's that spreadsheet sync and going into there, and so
that's rather good. I mean, the spreadsheet sync in QuickBooks Advanced is very good.
Yeah, agreed.
I mean, I've got a client where I've been playing with reports on Fathom. And whilst Fathom makes it look very, very pretty, the ability to manipulate it in Fathom is so messy and complicated. I'm actually thinking of giving up on Fathom and just saying to the client, look, it'll cost you more, but upgrade to QuickBooks Advanced and we can write exactly what you want in the spreadsheet and it'll be refreshed constantly rather than me having to go into Fathom and redo things each time. And, you've got to recreate the report each month or quarter just to bring in the different columns.
And you save that money instantly, right? Because if it's automatically updated, yeah. I had the exact same conversation with a client yesterday and got them to move to Advance. What's the community saying about this one? Everyone will want to know, so I'll just ask, where did you get the apron jumper from, Charlie? Bit of an impractical color though, truth to be told.
True.
God,
that is
where,
true.
Where is it? How do people get their hands on?
I don't think I got this because I keep talking about apron. I think I got it simply because I turned up to one of their stands at one of the shows and they gave it to me.
I did too.
Sure. Yeah,
I got that too.
So I've got a T-shirt. The color I agree. If you ever see them at the shows, they're wandering around in these sort of drippy. Well, this color, slightly darker than this boiler suit, which is horrible. But the thing to go to them, apart from having the best software I've used in years, best new software I've used in years from any accounting product, I think they are absolutely brilliant. So definitely talk to Apron if you don't know them, at whatever the next show is you're going to. They also do really, really good coffee beans.
I was trying to show the coffee, but I couldn't find it.
I need some new coffee. I'm just trying to. I actually bought myself a very fancy, very expensive coffee grinder last year,
just for that,
specifically because I get these coffee beans from Apron. So I could do their coffee beans proud by buying myself a good coffee grinder.
So if Apron are listening,
thanks for the the whatever.
Apron are listening and they want a swag idea, coffee grinders. Go on, Amy.
I do have a jumper and a t-shirt and I got it from Accountex last year. I went first day and I wear it a lot because it's so soft inside, isn't it, Charlie? It's good quality. I did have to give my coffee beans away because I don't have a grinder. So if a grinder is coming, Apron, can I go on the waiting list? There you go. There's coffee. I think actually they did grind some at the last event.
Oh, okay.
I think they found so they might even have ground coffee. I know we're going off topic a little bit, but I think they've got ground as well. Good. I like the app too. No, it's not just about the swag.
It's brilliant, and I mean, just while we're talking, they got some fantastically cool new features coming out in the next quarter or two. Just incredible. I think they're brilliant. Yeah,
we need to find out when we're allowed to talk about it, don't we? Because they're going to be really, really good to bring in.
Well, the one thing I am allowed to talk about, it's not live yet. I will just briefly mention it. They've got a wallet feature now. I've got a client where setting up bank payments is all a bit complicated with who has access to the bank. So I'm on there, I think it's alpha, not even beta yet, where they have a wallet. So you send money into an Apron wallet, so it sits within Apron. And then you can set up your own rules within Apron as to who is allowed to approve money coming out of that wallet. So that's been a fantastic workaround for this particular client. And that, I think that's coming out maybe Q1, Q2. The wallet's been rolled out, but I was told that I have to talk about that.
Yeah, we need that. Questions come through from Atul. Hi, how can we send payment link to the customer for the amount outstanding on their account? Unfortunately, you can't do that via QuickBooks. That's a third party only. I did look at Adfin today, which I think is absolutely brilliant. So keep an eye out for that. But a third party like Adfin will be able to do that for you at all. But yeah, unfortunately, within QuickBooks, they don't have that feature. You can only send payment links for individual invoices, which, yeah, we know is a pain point that people find difficult, don't we? Just quickly going on our next feature, just so we got that out there in the open. In the US, so this is a US only update at this point in time, they have an app transactions area. So originally we've shown this about Amazon as being one of their first ones where you can connect Amazon up, bring those transactions beautifully in. So if you think about what we got now in our transaction there, we've got bank and we've got receipt capture, we've got rules. Well, in between there was an app transaction, and you could originally put Amazon in there. We don't have in the US. I believe that's because, in the UK, I believe that's all down to VAT issues and trying to get that to translate to VAT and all that rubbish. But in the US, they've recently opened PayPal as well. And apparently, first reports are solves all of our multi-currency issues, solves all of our, problems we've had with having money going in and out and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, big update, and one we need to hopefully get fast follow here into UK pretty soon. What's everyone's thoughts on that one? Amy, you did the biggest facial expression. Go.
I actually have one client in mind that is going to be a massive headache on if PayPal are coming to the UK via that app section. So US QuickBooks, come on, bring it on.
Yeah, we don't want VAT holding us back.
Yeah, it's not VAT. Don't worry about that. Just give it to us.
We're under NDA, so we can't mention it. But VAT disappeared from another feature we used the other day, wasn't it? And that was interesting times. Charlie, what do you think to PayPal?
My battery's dying. I need to charge my laptop up. I hate PayPal, by the way. I absolutely hate PayPal as a payment method. But if clients are going to insist on using it, then great. The QuickBooks are adding it into the app. I'm just going to bend over and get myself a charger. No worries. Let's go back to the community. We have Kirsty saying, I like doing import sales, having made a CSV from a client website, holding my breath. Yeah, great idea, but none of the newer ones, so invoice, credit notes and all that lot, got this new fancy feature of being able to upload your Google Sheets to it. So yeah, you're kind of stuck. I say stuck. I don't know what you're saving. I really can't find the time saving here. So yeah, unfortunately, Kirsty, at this point in time, you can only upload. I suppose it's because it's only CSV file as well, isn't it? It's not even Excel on those new ones that come through. So yeah, continue as you are, Kirsty. Dave says, good afternoon all. I wonder, are you still in India, Dave? Do let us know. I do have an Apron tote bag. It's a lovely black though. Yeah, I really like that dark cream. And I'm a huge fan of Apron and OIC. Awesome. Right. Next one is more of what we didn't get updates for over this period. And that is QuickBooks Sole Trader. Maybe I missed it, but I didn't see a single update, and we were promised fast follows on things like rules, the receipt capture being fixed, etc. Go on, talk to me, people. What do you think? Like, I might be honest with me. Am I being too? What's the phrase? Should I set my expectations lower? Should I be like expecting things sooner than it is? Because my personal opinion is this period between now and the 5th of April, should I say, is almost like a soft launch for Sole Trader. Like I'm getting I want to get clients onto it now. Let them have like a overlap between self-employed and Sole Trader. Maybe use both at the same time, sort of thing. Get to know each product and have that real nice parallel start to it. Because my aim was, come 5th of April, no one's going to be on QuickBooks Self-Employed at the moment going forward, all on Sole Trader. Without these fast follows, I don't think I can do that because I've had some really tough experience with it in the last couple of weeks with 31st of January and everything else. But talk to me, Charlie, Amy, who wants to go first? What's your opinion on 0 updates for QuickBooks Sole Trader?
I'm very disappointed. I had a few new. I'm maybe a dinosaur accountant, but I opened my doors in January, and I got
that argument.
and I got a lot of new clients, Sole Trader. So I opened my doors, and a few of them actually went and paid upfront for QuickBooks Sole Trader. 2 of them, and I was very disappointed that it hadn't changed. since pre-Christmas. And I actually ended up doing the tax returns outside of QuickBooks Sole Trader. And yeah, I'm a little bit nervous about the ones that are on self-employed. I've got a handful that are still on self-employed that I want to move.
Yeah.
And I think I'm going, if nothing changes anytime soon, they're going to have to go simple start.
Really?
Yeah, because I had a particular issue with the client with their bank feed. They'd duplicated it. I couldn't exclude. It was hard to sort and everything. It was just taking too long. And now is the time I'm talking MTD. It's now February. People are starting to talk about it. There's still loads of people that don't know about it. But I wanted everything in place, exactly like you say, for April, before the letters start coming from HMRC, whenever they do come to say you're in. We still don't know, do we? I wanted to get ahead of the game, and I wanted the software in place and ready. I know it's still in testing and everything like that, but the things that QuickBooks can control, I would expect them to sort out.
Yeah. It's that feature parity argument, isn't it?
It's still not there. And they've got it in the other, maybe you're right. Maybe we are being a little bit harsh in the sense of, maybe these things are harder than than I'm thinking that they are.
No.
But it's a ticking time, and if they don't get sorted, we are going to have to look elsewhere.
Yeah, we don't have a choice, right? Like we can't promote a software that we're not 100% with. And the promise and the premise of QuickBooks Sole Trader, all aboard for absolutely. If you can deliver on what we think it should be, sold each time. It's just, and I think what doesn't help is I don't know if you guys have seen it yet. This whole minimal remarkable product release thing from Ted Kangalang, got his name, butchered his name, but he's head of product over in the US, and he did this podcast, and it was right. He wants to drop the phrase minimal. Minimal reliable, but minimal viable product. Thank you. He wants to drop that. Doesn't want to talk about that anymore because he knows how damaging that can be. And in fairness, this is a minimal viable product, right? Sole Trader. He wants to drop that, and he wants going forward only to be minimal remarkable product. So it's going to release at a high state, hit the ground running, make people get excited about it, make people want to shout about it, right? And this just didn't do that. This was so close. And we're not asking for major changes here. We just need those feature parities that came from self-employed. And we also just needed that little bit of confidence from an accountant's point of view that we're going to be able to deliver services to our clients. I just don't feel like we got that. Have you used it at all yet, Charlie? Because I know you were kind of playing around with it, weren't you? But have you put any clients on it yet?
No, I haven't. Have I got a time? I seem to have a time lag on mine.
It's okay.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't use QuickBooks Self-Employed at all because it was horrible. And QuickBooks Sole Trader, I very much want to use. I'm not rushing to put anybody on it yet because I don't have that many clients who require it, because basically anybody who is, well, it doesn't do VAT. So anybody who's VAT registers on full QuickBooks, anyone who's a limited company is on full QuickBooks. So it's only going to be those clients that aren't so small they won't even be an MTD, and aren't at 90 grand or previously 85 grand and registered for VAT.
Yeah.
There aren't that many of them. They're relatively straightforward, and I can move them across later in the year when it's a proper working product. Because if I move them across as it is now, there is no way they will understand it or know what to do with it or have anything, and it'll just be me doing all the work. Whereas at the moment, they send me a spreadsheet, and quite frankly, I can sort that spreadsheet very, very quickly, do what I need to do. And even if they were still on spreadsheet when MTD for IT, I think it's now called MTD for IT, not MTD for ITSA anymore, when that comes in April 26 next year, for over 50 grand, isn't it, next year? Then if necessary, I mean, I'm sure I'll get them onto it by then, but even if I hadn't, I'll put the data into QuickBooks myself at the thing to get the damn thing filed. It's so I'm not overly worried. I think HMRC will not be, as long as one is filing quarterly on time, which is absolutely critical. You've definitely got to do that. HMRC will get very upset if you don't file on time. How you get the data in there to file, I don't think in the first couple of quarters is going to upset anybody, as long as you're doing it. I could be wrong, but that's my view.
Yeah, Yeah, and it's a shame though, isn't it? Because this software should have been, especially for you, Charlie. Like this should have been the perfect sort of software for you for those sort of clients, right?
Yeah, I've the two. I mean, I've only had a couple of clients on. I think I had 2 or 3 in the end on Coconut, and I have issues with Coconut. I think the basic way it does it is quite nice, but the way you then pull out reports is a bloody mess. And I had a long conversation with them last year after January last year. A long conversation with them about it and told them some really simple things that they could do just with the interface to make it really easy for the accountant to look at what they wanted to look at and to highlight what they needed to highlight in 5 minutes, rather than every time I look at it, because I only look at it once a year for each client. That's it. I look at it once a year. So I've forgotten what on earth, how it worked. And it takes me 20 minutes to remind myself how the damn thing works. And it's utterly unintuitive. And I said to QuickBooks, this basically start with that, but make it a bit more intuitive. That's the way to, and the first iteration of QuickBooks Sole Trader didn't wow me, but I can see where they're going, and I think they're probably doing it right. But I hope that on the 4th of March at QuickBooks Get Connected, I imagine, given it's a month before the new tax year, I would be astonished if they were not making a big launch of it there and said, look, here's some new things that are on it, or here's some things that will be ready by April, or even if they're not ready by April, by the summer. But if they're not giving a proper demo of what it will look like with a vastly improved version of what we saw last year, then I will be a bit shocked, I'll be honest.
Yeah, but I think my worry for that is if they just announce it at Get Connected, who's being given the input of, because we're talking about rules and stuff, right? Like we need that to be super slick and super straightforward. This is rules even at a lower stage than we have in QuickBooks. We want this to be, if McDonald's go here, if blah blah go here, right? We need that interface to be super clean and super simple. Okay? Otherwise, they would have just launched with the interface that's in.
But here's the thing: given that it starts April 26 for people turning over 50 grand or more.
Yeah.
So 25 to 26 is just a test year. They're not VAT registered. There's no MTD yet. So there's no requirement to do the work, to start doing the work until, ultimately January. Even if you wanted to use it to test year ended March, April 26, you've got till January 27. So you've got till January 27 to even get the data in and filed, arguably, and the testing. That's not till then, because you need to start in April 26. So you've got till before April 26 to have played around with it and tested it, so you can run it live from April 26 and file on a quarterly basis. I am not suggesting that people do that. Absolutely not. But also remember, they've got it ready by the summer, but it doesn't have to be ready by 5th of April. It would have been good if it was, and maybe it still will be. But
they're sunsetting QuickBooks Self-Employed. So if you're on QuickBooks Self-Employed now, you now cannot re-download that onto your newest phone. So if you upgrade your phone,
I see.
Do you know what I mean? Like, they are forcing you from one platform to another. At the moment, there's no feature parity.
I don't use Self-Employed.
You can't use Snap Receipt feature properly because we showed it before, right? It's not creating new transactions, it's only linking, it's those sort of things. So I think that's mine and yours frustration, isn't it, Amy, where we can't promote this product yet, we can't push this product yet, because ultimately Self-Employed is still doing more for them, you know what I mean? And that's the craziness that we're in. Any more bits on that, Amy, before we move on?
No, it's just that they are obviously offering deals on QuickBooks Sole Trader and have clients that signed up for the whole year. So I've got it. I'm seeing it. I had to try and use it last month, and I think there is the advertising around it, and people are starting to hear about IT. Sorry, it's as dead and gone. I still say it's a IT. So yeah, they just need to step it up a little bit. Come on, let's get the rules in, make our lives a little bit easier and our clients' lives a bit easier.
I would throw one other thing in there.
Go for it.
For anybody at Intuit who may be listening, for God's sake, put it in the QuickBooks Accountant list when you filter it for bookkeeping clients.
It should be there, isn't it? In that new list we've got. Okay, is it not there?
Well, I've only got one client who's on IT, and I can't remember which one it is. I'm going to try and find it.
But it does
what
work.
What term am I looking for? Huh?
but it does work far better than QuickBooks Self-Employed, which was that whole having to jump into a new thing. And awesome. Apologies to anyone on Instagram. I completely forgot that you were there and you don't appear in our another list. So hi, James. Sole Trader could be could be so good, but there are gaps. Exactly, 100% with you. And here we go. This is exactly the issue. We've got Surian saying here, I need to register as self-employment for this tax year, but I'm currently using QuickBooks Self-Employed to help. Is this something I should be wary of? 100%. Yeah. And unfortunately, they're sunsetting QuickBooks Self-Employed. So our recommendation is to use QuickBooks Sole Trader. But as we've been saying, it's 80%, 80 to 90% there, right? So most of it's there. We're looking at it from a critical point of view when we've got to look after X number of clients. That's when it falls short for us. But as an individual user, yeah, you know, feel free to use it. Just remember that there are a few things that we were promised as fast follow, like rules, haven't appeared yet. You mentioned there about Get Connected London. So that's our next one.
Before you do it, I just to answer your previous one, because I've just checked. I've now found which client it was. I couldn't find it because I've just checked. There's a client called David. I won't say the surname, XYZ, and I'm filtering my QuickBooks account. You know, my client list in QBOA, which is it's always set to the bookkeeping thing. He's not there. I click on Overview, and I get all the things with the little QB icon on the left of all the ones that are on Plus and Simple Start and all the rest of it. And this client, David XYZ, is listed there with the QB icon in Overview. But as soon as I go back to bookkeeping, even though it's got the QB icon on it, it's not there. They just need to set something in the background so it includes it. I mean, maybe they've done this on purpose, but I couldn't see why. If that's the case.
We've got that whole new view coming soon, haven't we? Closed book. So I imagine that they'll fix it then. But yeah, I've got a lot of faith in that.
Because of that, because I'm always in the bookkeeping view.
You don't even see it.
I forgot about it. I forgot who I'd even set up on this system. Not good.
So you mentioned Get Connected London. Do you want to explain to the wonderful listeners and community how they can get themselves booked and find information on Get Connected London? Fastest finger first. Go, everyone.
Well, I registered months ago for it, because I got an email, and I'm trying to find an email link. But I looked this morning. We had a little chat in the virtual green room before this pod started, and we looked on the website, and it's mentioned on. If you go to the events page on the QuickBooks UK website, it's listed there along with the Festival Accounting, Bookkeeping, and Accountex, and whatever else is mentioned there. But there is no link to how you register. So, and I just Googled it, couldn't find any link. So I'm assuming it's still happening because it's on their events page. Yeah. But either they're full up and they don't want any more people, or something slipped somewhere, because I can't see why on earth they wouldn't have and even if there was full up, then boast about the fact and say, by the way, here's what a stellar lineup you're missing this year. You should make sure you register early for next year.
Yeah. Unless it's invite only, but that doesn't feel right. Like, does it? I don't know. Like, Zero can't have it invite only.
Even if it's invite only, you still want to say, here's the amazing event that's invite only, but do X, Y, Z, and you'll be invited next year. No, but you tell people about it. I mean, you know, it's no, that seems a bit odd.
Very strange. I've never known anything like this. So it's very strange. Amy, what's your thoughts on it?
Oh, well, I don't have a ticket.
No, you are going. We'll sneak
you've
got to be on the pod.
No, I'll do it from the car again.
From the car
really, from outside the event. They won't let me in because I didn't get the invite. I'm trying to think if I've had any mailing about it or anything, and I have had nothing. No, I haven't seen it anywhere. So it's in the diary because I put it in last year talking to you guys, right? But put that in. But yeah, I hope I'm invited. I think it will come. It will come. But we are a month away.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I've just found my
in between Engager and Fab. So there's not that much room. Like people are going to be.
There has been a lot about Fab going around. I keep getting. I
Engage Labs
early, and I keep asking if I want a ticket from various different sources and sponsors and things. So yeah, I'm worried it's going to get missed.
Because people only have infinite time.
I just found my email. So they sent an email out on the 19th of November with a link to register. I mean, it says you're invited, but I don't think that means that only certain people are invited. It was just a link to register. Actually, let's see if this link still works. Register now. It's still available. So, I mean, if you, I'll read it out. Can I put it in the?
You can put it in the chat if you want. There's a post a comment section. It will post to everyone there. But while you're doing that one, I just don't understand why it's so almost secretive. It doesn't.
So they thanked me for registering on the 20th of November, and then nothing since. I've had no emails since.
Very strange. Very strange. Right.
I have it. Sorry, I lied.
You already
got an email. I have a ticket. I'm really sorry, QuickBooks. I am going. Exactly. When Charlie said the date, I did a search. 19th of November. Nothing since though, so I think they need to maybe ramp up.
And also nothing online to do it if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Like that email. So.
Okay. Sorry, QuickBooks. Love you.
But we hopefully we'll be watching it from there. This is the thing, right? It's literally 3 weeks in a row we'll be at an event at this rate. There's Engage Labs, QuickBooks Connect, and then Fab, which is completely different parts of the country as well. One's Liverpool, one's London, and one's Birmingham. So, so travel. Just conscious of time, let's quickly go to our topic for the week. Top topic, and it's our Intuit Assist wish list. So we're going to be talking about with Intuit Assist, hopefully coming soon, very, very soon. I've had a play around with it in the American product. Absolutely love it. We showed it last week. Looking good. Really happy with the way that it kind of extracts that data and stuff like that for us and everything else. We've seen how it works on the bank account and bank fee and everything else. But what is it that you guys want to see that's going to mean that you're actually going to start thinking that you're going to start promoting it, using it, that it's going to be a bit of a game changer for you? Who wants to go first?
Amy.
Thanks. So for me, I struggle a lot with clients sending me their documentation, their receipts. I think I've spoken about this before. If Intuit Assist can alert me where I don't have an attachment, again, this is dreaming. Don't have an attachment. Here is a message to send to your client to say, this doesn't have an attachment.
Yeah.
Ping, gone. I mean, I'm talking in the dream. I don't know if this is possible.
I don't think anything you're saying is impossible.
That would be complete game changer. At the moment, again, trusty Excel, I'm exporting my list and I'm sending it to the client and whatnot. Yes, I know you can do something in Apron, but you have to import it anyway, so you still have to use Excel. My best friend. So if there was something within the Intuit Assist can say there's nothing attached, client, please send us a receipt and invoice.
And being AI, what's to stop it then automatically going against that transaction?
The client, click a button. Here you go. Here it is. Boom. In, attached, done. I don't even need to attach it.
No, it can read it, make sure everything's right, and just lets you know if there's anything that found different.
Change
Amy,
the VAT. Ooh,
Amy,
the VAT. Right?
You put this VAT, but now we think it's this VAT. Are you happy with that? Like that's what we want the AI to do, isn't it? Yeah, I love that. So it's all about trying to find all those missing transactions and finding ways to get that into us easier. I love it. Charlie, what's yours? What's your want list?
What Amy was saying, I completely agree with. I think those would all be incredibly useful. I think what it could do is take the VAT, what does it call it? The VAT checklist, whatever it calls it, where it lists all the things that. I think it could take that and do a lot more work to help you with it. And one of the things that frustrates me there is, for example, it tells me all these transactions have got no VAT code against them. Well, because they're transfers from the current account to the deposit account and back to, I mean, that kind of stuff. And intelligently go, well, of course, there's no VAT on that. It's just moving cash from A to B, that kind of stuff. So intelligently work with that, allow you to explain to it what kind of transactions never have VAT and therefore don't keep telling you they don't have VAT. Maybe, for example, because it would be useful. I get some clients who occasionally, when they send an invoice to an overseas customer, get confused and instead of putting 0% VAT, which technically it isn't 0% VAT, but that's the only way to get it to fit in box, to get the turnover to fit in box 8, whatever it is on the VAT return. They put no VAT, which means it doesn't appear in box 8 or whatever on the VAT return. So get it to do things like that and then automatically change them. Again, I think Amy was sort of highlighting that kind of thing, but changing VAT things. So that kind of stuff would be, I thought, pretty simple. Once you've got a basic AI tool, and if it's built into QuickBooks, then getting it to do that kind of stuff in the background should be easy. I mean, a tool that I mention every few podcasts that I quite like is an American tool that works over here, but is Right Tool.
Yeah.
And they, all they do is do stuff within the browser. They have no access to the backend database at all. There's no APIs or anything. It's just doing stuff within the browser code, and they're able to do all sorts of clever stuff. And they got one guy, Mark, who does all the programming, and Hector, who's behind it all. But Mark does all the programming. If he can do that stuff in a browser, one guy, you'd think Intuit could do this stuff incredibly easily in the actual database. So if the AI is even a tenth as good as it sounds like it will be, it should be able to do this kind of stuff very, very easily. So I would look forward to that.
I love it. So Amy, you want it to go find and help get missed information into you quicker, easier, and simpler. And Charlie, you're looking for it to supercharge your error checkers, right, and make it so that AI is doing that error checking for you. Love that.
And not just that, obviously, but all sorts of error checkers. Yeah.
I love that. I'm going to ask for a controversial one where it'll probably cost me a job, but I am very much blown away by it. So a video I posted yesterday, which I highly recommend people go and watch, is a video where I used a tool called Google Studio AI. And the idea of this one is you start a conversation with your AI, but it's very natural, right? We've all used the S word from Apple and the A word from Amazon and all them on. We have those frustrations going back and forth. This is a very natural conversation topic with someone where you're literally talking to it. The trick of this one, though, is you get to also share your screen, and that conversation also gets to have context of it. So scenario that I did in the video was I went over to a sample company. I had QuickBooks in front of me, and I went, "Hey, Google, just let me know what's this in front of me." And it was telling me how it was QuickBooks. I said, just out of curiosity, how do I reconcile my bank? And it went step by step by step, telling me what's on my screen, telling me to look after this. One of the ones was I was adding a transaction. It was like, be careful about the VAT. You need to think about this. You need to think about that. All naturally talking to me back and forth. So from a support point of view, like training people to use a product, the best experience I've ever had in terms of being trained on how to use it. It really knew what was in front of me. It was telling me from a context point of view when I was trying to reconcile the bank. Look, you're looking for this one, so let's have a look through this. It's probably this transaction here that's been ticked, and it shouldn't be. Like, it's that sort of cleverness of looking and reading your screen and looking at the data there. I remember this is Google Studio, so it's based it on Google, what information Google has, so help topics and everything else provided by Intuit, probably videos like mine and podcasts like this, right? That's what it's taking its information from, right? Which is great. It's a great source of data and great source of information. But what if Intuit Assist, had that functionality, and it pops up on the right hand side, do you need a hand with this? And suddenly it's talking to you like this one was, and going through and telling you how to do this, and having that conversation with you about it. That to me would cost me a job, fair enough, but I think would be an amazing use of that. And for me, like, then when it comes for people like ourselves coming in to maybe help people, we're looking at a much higher level, right? We're coming in at that, right? AI's got you so far. We need to come in here, and it just, everyone's will be able to get to that particular level so much quicker. If you haven't had have a look at that video, because it blew me away. Like, AI has always been one of those things where, I'll do this and I'll play with this, and that's amazing, that's cool. That this one.
Do you want to put a link to that video on the various?
Yeah, I'll stick it in there. But yeah, highly recommend. Like, this is, you are just talking to effectively a computer, but it just feels like a person.
But this is what
the screen, and
somebody was showing me recently in a completely different sphere that they're working in. But they were showing me recently how they use custom. I think they're called custom GPTs. You got to, if you're in the paid for Chat GPT, the sort of $25 a month, whatever it costs, thing, which I'm in. You can go there, and I've not created any myself, but I've had a look. You create custom GPTs, and what they did is they had a massive instruction set for, I won't say what it's about because they're thinking of launching a product on it.
Yeah.
But a massive instruction set for whatever this facility was. They just boom, dumped all the written text into this thing. And then, I mean, they had to create a few prompts and things. I mean, it's a little bit more than this, but not much more. And the person who did it is not a technical person. They were showing what they did, and they're going to get a technical person to actually build it out properly. But they were then able to ask it all sorts of questions, with thousands of pages of guff about how to use this thing. And the thing would speak to them and answer their questions. So you could take, for example, again, not to do you and everybody out of a job with the QuickBooks Trainers Network, but you could put all take the transcripts of your videos. I mean, you could even take the transcripts and the videos. You could even link to bits of videos if you want, but take transcripts of help screens. And one of the things that Xero does do well that I've liked that QuickBooks doesn't do, but they do alternative much better in that they have phone support. But Xero has very good written support. And you imagine if you were a Xero user, you could take all of that stuff, stick it into one of these custom GPTs, build a platform, and then you just ask the question, which means they could offer, an online, almost like calling somebody up, except you're just doing it online. It's not a telephone call. It's not a human being. And I mean, this is where all this stuff is going to go over the next 2-3 years. It is astonishing.
It's amazing.
How capable it is of answering this stuff.
But I think it does definitely highlight, though, like Intuit built or building Intuit Assist from the ground up. It's their technology, their database, their large language models. Like, boom, 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 boom. Like this has to be where the advantage comes for them to have their own platform. They can do.
But it's been way more than that. I mean, 5-6 years ago, they were talking about the ability of somebody comes out of a meeting, goes, hey QB, a bit like saying hey S word or a word that you're referring to with Apple and Amazon. I've just made a sale that's going to sell 1,000 bread rolls a month to customer X, and QuickBooks comes back and says, well, you're going to need to go back to your supplier because they can only provide enough flour for 800, but we've got this deal with this other supplier who could do another this, and also if you get this many, you'll get the price they've offered to reduce. But that's where a QB Assist, I would imagine, is going to go, because that's what we were talking about years ago. That's way more than a Chat GPT type thing can do. And that's where I think they would be enormously powerful, and that's 100%. Focus.
I just question how the others can even compete at that level, because the others, particularly one that I won't say, but the one that starts with J and ends with X, from what we can tell, is just an add-on. Like, it is just an extension to another AI tool that has a bit of access here and about. And from all the Xero fanboys and girls out there, they're not impressed by it, and they're not shouting about it, and they just feel like it's a bit of a gimmick. And I feel the only way that this AI Intuit Assist is going to explode and become what we want it to become is we need things like what we've just said here, of real powerful use cases, don't we? Real powerful game changers that are going to go, right, that this is why Intuit Assist is worth it. This is why AI is important in our FMS solutions, although we hate using that word. But that's what we need, don't we? We need that wowness. We need that amazingness, I guess, isn't it? Cool. Amy, anything you got your end for this one?
Tax year end's done. I'm back in audit world.
In audit world.
In the car.
Are you happy? Are you happy? You can blink twice if you're not, and we'll to rescue you.
I am happy. I'm getting some sleep.
Blink twice, everyone.
The dinosaur is sleeping. Sorry, had to get that in there. No, I'm just cracking on with life. I've got a few things in the pipeline with James, who was just chatting there.
Who also says, thank God you found your ticket. So he's behind you on that one.
Yeah, thanks. We're doing some things hopefully with the ACCA soon. So yeah, you can find me on LinkedIn.
Exciting times. Charlie, where can people find you?
They can find me at my Facebook group for QuickBooks Pro Advisors. Go to Facebook, look for QBOA user group. Do please say something that you're a pro advisor, or put something in the little it asks you questions, join the group, otherwise I won't let you in. But I would love to let you in. We're about 830 members at the moment. It'd be nice to get up to 1,000. See you there.
Love it. And these aren't yours, but we will be making sure that next month, should say, when we do our QuickBooks Connect live one, we'll have plenty of these around. So come say hi, try and collect all 4 of us. They're green, they're QuickBooks inspired, and yeah, and then we'll make sure that the rest of the team sign them accordingly. But that's it from us. That has been another exciting episode of QuickBooks Labs. Hopefully, one last thing, just to rub it in there. Christmas Day. What did we get to see?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Bryn wearing the QuickBooks thing. Don't remember seeing Zero on Christmas Day, but maybe I missed it. But that's it. That's our episode of QuickBooks Lab for January. This was, I know it was a bit late, but hey, we're accountants. We're allowed to have January and move it back. That's exactly how it works. But no, next month's, at the end of the month, shall I say, we got a big one. We got that live from QuickBooks Connect. So if you're there, say hi to us, grab yourself some very exclusive, very top trumps cards, get them signed, get the collection, and we will see you all then. So it is a goodbye from me.
And a goodbye from me.
Oh, goodbye from
everyone.
me.
And,
Bye.
We will see you next month for the exciting live episode from QuickBooks Connect. Bye for now.
Bye.